Looks like we are now streaming live on Facebook. Hey, everybody. Lab Coat Agents, good to see you today. Cash call. Brian and I cannot wait to share with you some of the nuggets that we have. We're going to be listening to some live calls today from real agents and real ISAs. We know we've gotten a lot of feedback in the past about people really enjoying us doing that. So we're going to be doing more of that today. Brian, why don't you warm up the crowd while I get the live playing over here on Facebook?
All right, absolutely. So, really what we're doing out there is giving you guys an opportunity to take a look at even things that may end up in our end result of getting to the point where you're making an appointment and it feels like success. One of the things that we know that happens is sometimes we get to that appointment. When the appointment goes okay, then people ghost us. And honestly, that may not be what happened on the appointment. That may be what happened before the appointment. So we're really just going to kind of take a look at some calls and just some things that may seem okay, and it's that little bit extra that you can do that can really take you from wherever you're at to even double your business. It's literally the small things, and I feel like we as an industry have not done a good job of pointing that out. So apparently Dale and I have taken that on as the people who are going to teach everybody that. So hopefully we'll be able to, and you guys can get some benefit from it.
Yeah, that's really good that you point that out, Brian. Honestly, there's nuances to the conversations that you have with people. You can say one word wrong. You can approach somebody just in slightly the way that something that just catches them and spooks them and makes them decide to say no. It's like fishing, right? It's crazy. I mean, I'm not a huge fisherman, but I do know that fish can get spooked really easily. And
Story.
And it, like look at fly fishermen that like tie these crazy little flies and make them look exactly like anatomically correct little flies. And if something's off, it doesn't work for that fish, right? It's not going to catch them. And leads are kind of like that too. We're going to listen to one of these calls today where you can just hear the ISA set this up completely wrong. First of all, you can hear them totally drop a bomb on their ability to get anything with this person and then go on to ask them for a further conversation or meeting, and it's just never going to happen. And you can hear that when you listen to the recording. Now, the benefit of listening to the recordings is you don't know you're doing this when you're actually doing it. And that's why Brian and I in our coaching, one of the most impactful things that we can do is listen to somebody's calls with them, because it makes a huge difference.
And Dale, I'm going to piggyback that real quick. If you have calls, if you're listening to us today and you're a single agent and you want us to listen to some of your calls, great, send them over. If you're a team leader, you want us to listen to, great, send them over. I am happy to take a look at it. I'm working, and I think Dale is too, really just trying to build a database of phone calls that we can help people, because, we can learn every script and every dialogue, but I always say this over and over. I heard someone else say it. The seller or buyer or basically the other person at the end of the phone, they didn't get the script. So when they go off script, what do you do? So we're going to hopefully, give you some of those tools as well. And, we don't have answers. We're not perfect. I promise I've screwed some up too, but there's real opportunity to learn.
Oh yes. I have ruined thousands and thousands of calls myself. Brian, what's your email address? I'm putting our email address into the chat for the live. So
sure.
People can see where to send it if they want to review.
Mine's really easy. It's Brian, Brian, and at searchnwa.com. So that's search November Whiskey Alpha.com.
So Brian is searchnwa.com, and I am Dale at smartinsidesales.com. So just put that into the chat for everybody. If anybody's interested in having their calls reviewed, we can do that here live. All right. So how about I'll go first. How about
Perfect.
That? All right. Let me tee this call up here, and we will listen to it. Share my screen. Make sure I don't have anything inappropriate on the screen. Always important. Someday.
I don't even want to know what that means, but that sounds awesome.
Someday there's going to be something on the screen that I didn't want on there, like the Whitney soundtrack or something. You know what I mean?
I do. Maybe we can share our music sometime, and they can make more fun of us. So.
Market real estate.
All right, so I'm going to play this. You just let me know if you can hear it, Brian. I'm going to assume that Facebook land can hear it.
Perfect.
Hi there, my name's Keely. I'm currently at your property, 7432 Tyndale. I'm Tyndale, and I was just wondering, like,
Yeah, I logged into my computer.
Can you hear me?
say the first step before anything is, of course, getting pre-approved. Since he's military, he'll go for a VA loan, which is a military loan.
Let me try this other one.
Hi there, Alex here. I'm connecting you to a local agent now.
Okay.
Hi, John.
Hello.
This is failing. Okay, you try.
All right, I'm up. Okay, so
All right, lab coat agents. This worked last time. I don't know what's going on this time.
well, you need to. I'm going to go ahead and try and share my screen. I need you to stop first. Okay, perfect.
There you go.
See if I have any more luck than Dale, and we'll just kind of go from there. All right, so this is actually a Zillow call for all of those who are watching Zillow, listen to Zillow, but it really doesn't matter. Let's see if it works.
I don't hear anything. Do you? Are you hearing anything?
Can you hear it, Dale?
A little. It sounds like Charlie Brown's teacher.
I got one more. We'll try this.
Try one more, and then here's
Try
what
one
I think
more.
we can do, Brian. If we can't get them to play, let's just describe the synopsis of what happened.
Okay, perfect. So let me do this real quick. New share. I know what I did. I forgot to hit the share sound button. Okay, let me try this. Maybe that'll work better. All right, click that and scroll back here. All right, let's try now. Tell me if you can hear this now.
Oh, okay. So is that like a rent to own or?
No, rent to own, very difficult to find in Northwest Arkansas. This is strictly a for sale and purchase. Have you been able to speak to a loan officer or anything, or kind of find out what you can do?
About what?
About a home loan.
All right, so I'm going to pause that real quick in case you guys couldn't hear. And here's the reason. And honestly, guys, this is one of the better agents on my team. So I'm not sure what that says about my team. But here's what I took when I listened to this phone call.
About a home loan, dummy.
So and that's exactly what I heard. And Dale picked up on it immediately. And this is the things that I want you guys to pay attention to. So you can hear the frustration in the agent's voice. What he said was about a home loan. What he was thinking was, hey, moron, I'm talking about a home loan. You think in your head, by the way, they come out of your mouth, the way not, but the information is still conveyed. Remember, only on the phone, only 50% of the communication is the actual words. The other 50% is your tone and your rate and your speed and just your attitude, It's communicated. So step one, this guy basically was calling about a rent-to-own home. It wasn't advertised that way, but that's what he thought he wanted. And, the agent came back and said, well, why don't you just go ahead and, buy a house? So I'm going to play a little bit more of it and then do a little bit more critique.
We have the money to put down for a home. We just trying to find a home quick and fast.
Pause that. Pause that. So he heard a home loan, dummy, and he was like, I'm not a dummy, a-hole. I have the money, right?
Exactly.
That's what I just heard.
Right. So it gets better.
There's plenty of things you can do. I mean, I wouldn't recommend trying to find a home quick and fast just because you may choose the wrong place and then you're stuck in it.
Pause this. Oh, my God. Pause this. Brian, can we get this dude? Can we just get him on a coaching call?
We
Holy
can.
shit, man. How about this? Try this. Oh, what's important about getting a home quick and fast?
Right.
What's that going to solve for you, right? Instead of talking him out of the damn thing.
So, and let's keep listening. You'll enjoy.
Oh my God.
Rent to own, man, is a racket because I'll just be honest with you. I'll be straight up. When you go to rent to own, the seller owns the house. You don't have any ownership. If they can sell to somebody else from under you, your agreement's null and void. There's no protection for you in a rent to own. So you always want to go to a loan officer, because you have money to put down and stuff. If you have over a 580 credit score, there's loans that are available for the purchase of a home. And you can get into a house within 30 days. So it can happen fast, It's just you want to take always the proper steps. And right now it's cheaper to buy than it is to rent. So it would just be in your worst interest to rent to own,
See, right now we're in Springdale, Arkansas, but we live in Searcy, Arkansas.
So here's some of the other takeaways I took from this. This phone call actually ends up being 11 and a half minutes, so we're probably not going to listen to the entire thing today. But I love what Dale was saying. It was the exact same takeaway that I had. The agent provided a lot of good information, by the way. You know, he provided the information that the guy could buy a house. He needed a 580 credit score. All that stuff was good, but I'm not sure that the buyer wanted that information. So basically what I hear is just, hey, you've got a problem, do it my way, do it my way, do it. There was not any interaction like, hey, out of curiosity, why do you want to rent to own? Well, I'm only going to be here for another 6 months, and I thought that would be a good idea. We don't have any idea why this guy wants to rent to own. We don't know if he wants to buy a house. We don't know if he's ever owned. I mean, we did zero discovery, but boy, we told him everything that we knew. That's what.
Yeah, Brian, the agent is knowledgeable. Here's what he doesn't know is that nobody gives a shit what he knows unless he's going to listen to what they know or think and get it out of them first.
Yes. So, you know, here's the takeaway from this call more than anything else from me is we have to stop telling and start selling. But the only way to sell is to determine what the problem is. A good salesperson is going to find a problem and then find a solution. Or if they can't find a problem, they'll create a problem and come up with a solution.
Yes. Brian, let me add this to what you just said. A great salesperson finds out what the problem is, how this person thinks they're going to solve it, and why that makes the most sense. And then that great salesperson is going to suggest a better, faster, cheaper, easier, or more way to solve that problem and offer it to them.
Yep.
That's objection handling.
And it's great. And here's the thing. We don't even know if this guy had an objection.
Right.
Think about it. We closed about 3 different objections that the guy maybe didn't even have.
Right.
I mean, you know, he said he wanted to close, you know, here's an example. I want to close quickly, or I want to be in a house quickly. Well, I don't know what the hell that means. Do you know what the hell that means, Dale?
I heard the agent say, I wouldn't recommend you getting a house fast and quick, or quick and easy, or quick and whatever, right?
Right.
Quick and in a hurry. I'm like, oh my God, you just told this guy not to get a house fast. Let's figure out what he wants first before we do that.
Right. You know, we make all kinds of assumptions. So, you know, here's an assumption that people make all the time, and I want to talk about this even though it wasn't on this call. People make the assumptions that people understand how we get paid. There's a lot of people who have no idea how real estate agents get paid. I've got a friend who's been in the building industry for 30 years who told me that he thought that I wrote a check every week to every one of my agents just for being at my brokerage.
Oh my gosh. Can you imagine?
I can imagine going broke.
That would only last a couple weeks.
Yeah, seriously. And this is a guy who's been around the industry for 30 years. So do you really believe that the average person out there who maybe has bought 1 or 2 or 0 houses in their lifetime really understands how we get paid? Do they really understand, you know, again, I started doing real estate in 2005. If you look at the loans from 2005 and the loans from 2019, yes, there are some of the exact same loans, but overall, they don't even resemble each other. The process isn't the same. There's nothing that's the same. So if the last time that you bought a house was 10, 15 years ago, everything's changed. And this guy has no idea. He did say that the guy owns a house, but by the way, we still haven't asked the guy what he's going to do with that house. There's much inquiry that wasn't done on the front end of this call, but what we did do is tell him every damn thing we knew.
Right. I love agents.
Frustrating part.
I love opportunities like that because we can make a massive impact in that salesperson's life and his career by helping with that kind of stuff. All right. Can I play mine? I want to play mine now.
Absolutely. Go for it. I need to stop sharing my screen so you can do yours.
Yeah. I think I worked out my sound problems while you were doing that. Let's see. Share screen 2, computer sound. Okay. Hopefully this works. Fingers crossed. So to set this up, this is an inbound call for somebody that wanted to take a look at a property. So I just want to hear I want you guys to hear what this agent did.
Market real estate.
Hi there, my name's Keely.
Where are you trying to be in a home buy?
So
Okay.
I want to take a look at this house. He starts asking her questions, right?
All right. When were you trying to be in a home buy?
My husband thinks September, but I know that that's like kind of hopeful.
Yeah. it's one of them things where
Now, this is a missed opportunity. He starts talking, and I'll let you hear what he does, which I would never recommend doing, right? She said earlier in the call, which we didn't hear, that that's the first time they're buying. She just said, my husband thinks September. I think that's hopeful. Brian, what would your first question be?
So I would ask, well, so I don't know when that, let me just ask you this. When was this call? Recently?
Recent.
Okay. So I would just ask what do you think is a realistic time that you can be in the house? I think great question. Another great question might be, in a perfect world, when would you like to be in a house? I like that question. I use that in a perfect world a lot because sometimes the perfect world, we can accomplish it. So those would be two questions that I would ask in that scenario.
And I have a different question. So she said, my husband thinks September. I don't know what the word was. She's like, I think that's optimistic or whatever it is.
Yes.
Oh,
hopeful.
Hopeful. What makes September hopeful? How about that question?
Yeah.
That's an easy one, right?
Yeah. When do you think you can be in a house?
So instead, let's hear what this guy does.
Awesome. Perfect.
it's definitely possible. But it all depends on, your goals. Like, for example, if you had the goals of September, I would definitely say the first step before anything is, of course, getting pre-approved. Since he's military, he would go for a VA loan, which is a military loan.
Right, yeah.
Then, of course, then it's the point of finding exactly the home that you want.
Now, keep in mind, she called about a specific address. The reason I'm playing this part is because it's going to be obvious in a minute.
And then, going through the motions of putting your offer down and going through closing, going through all the paperwork and stuff like that.
Talking.
Yeah. I kind of just threw this in my lap a couple of days ago, so I was just trying to get my feet wet and that sort of thing.
All right, well, great. I just got the address up. So 7432 Tyndale Court in Norfolk, Virginia.
Right, yeah.
What's the one thing that you would not say here?
One thing I would not say?
That you would not. What's the one thing you would not say at this point?
I'll be honest, Dale, I'm not sure where you're going with that.
Okay, we'll play it. You'll hear it.
Okay, so 3 bedroom, 2 bathrooms, 1,500 square foot. It's going for $140,000. The only bad thing, it is under contract. So
that is one of the things you don't say when you're trying to do discovery with a buyer, right?
Absolutely. You've just told them that the thing that you want, you can't have.
Why tell her? Why tell her that? Don't tell her that. Who gives a shit? She probably isn't going to buy that one anyway.
Right.
Now she was happy. Everything was good, right? Leading up to this. Now we tell her it's under contract. Now listen to what happens.
Right now, somebody does have an offer put in, but it is contingent on a home inspection, so those do fall through. So I can definitely keep tabs on that property for you.
Yeah. The call is over at the point that he said that. It's not going anywhere, right? He now has no value to this person. And you can hear it in her response.
You hear it. So here's the thing that I feel that here's everybody listening, pay attention to this part. You are eventually going to have to tell this buyer that this house is under contract. Dale's not saying lie about it. Dale's not saying never tell them. But what he's saying was you went down the road of discovery, theoretically, stay there, finish your discovery, find out all the things you want, and then you can say, by the way, unfortunately, this property is not under contract. But I can tell you right now, in my market, I follow up with this script, and I don't know how you feel about it. Hey, Dale, why don't we do this? Let's schedule this to take a look at it. What day were you available? Tuesday? Okay, awesome. I could do 3 or 4 o'clock. Which one of those work better? Great, 4 o'clock. Awesome. I will set that up. And let's go take a look at it, because lots of times we can write a really strong backup offer, and that will allow people to then, it gives the seller the ability to negotiate repairs. And honestly, sometimes that actually allows your offer to move into first position. First thing first, though, let's go look at the property. I want to get in front of these people no matter what. And
Absolutely.
That's really that's where I go. But I'm happy to hear what you might do in that scenario.
It's very similar So in this call, absolutely what you said, get the discovery done. We don't have to reveal that part about it not being available, first of all. Second, she said she wants to see this property. Are you going to rely on what it says in the MLS completely? Because listen, if I'm back in the game of being an agent and I have a buyer interested in a property, what do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to pick up the phone and I'm going to say, hey, how's that deal going? Is it really under contract? How strong is the offer? Are they taking backup offers, right? Before I tell this person that it can't happen. So you do the same thing when you're on the phone with somebody. Don't reveal to her that it is potential, that it says that it might be gone there. Just get your discovery done. Say, wonderful, I'd love to show it to you. When would you like to go see it? And say, you know what, as I was taking a look, there's a couple of other homes that are very similar to this right around that. How about we just go see those other two at the same time, knock it all out at the same time instead of just driving down there for one house. Now I've scheduled her for multiple houses, right? Now, if you're an ISA, I would probably book that appointment. I'd get off the phone. I would pass the lead to my agent and I'd be specific and say, it says that it's under agreement. However, they're willing to see some other properties. Just find out if they're what the status is of that property, right? We're going to do our due diligence. And then if you have to, I would let them know, hey, this is a choice. This is a business choice, right? You can call them back up and say, hey, I've got us locked in for this address, and this address. It turns out that address, the one they called about, happens to be under agreement right now and they're not taking backups or whatever it is, right? You can call ahead of time, see if they'll still continue with the other showings with you, or you can make a business decision and show up day of, which happens, and say, hey, these three are still available. Unfortunately, that one is not, right? I mean, that happens in reality when you're working with a buyer, doesn't it?
It happens all the time.
Happens all the time. But that's an ethical business decision that you have to make, how you approach it.
And I don't know, Dale, how popular this is, and it's going to change from market to market. But I really want to just for a second, and this is going off of our script a little bit, but understand for most people, if the property is under contract, there's a good chance it's not under contract at full price. It might be under contract at full price, but there's a good chance it's not. You bring a really strong offer, and then that seller goes to negotiate repairs, and the buyer wants $2,000 worth of repairs, and they look and say, well, hell, this offer over here is $5,000 higher than the offer I got. I can make the $2,000 repairs and make $3,000 more on the offer. I can tell that buyer, look, you make a choice. I'm not doing any repairs, move forward, or I'm going with this other offer. And by the way, we've gotten transactions done that way, because when we ran into limited inventory, I just didn't have a lot of houses to show. So I just basically go and write really, really, really strong offers. And then at the end of the day, sometimes that seller will back out of the other offer to take yours. So true. It's a true win. And don't be afraid to do that. And you got to remember, I've heard this, and I'll be honest with you, the next agent that tells me that they're concerned about their schedule and they don't lead generate on a regular basis or anything like that, I might just scream. Over and over again. Well, I don't want to waste my time. Here's what a waste of time is: not making appointments. Spending your life coming up with reasons not to go on appointments, that's a waste of time. Anytime you can get in front of somebody who wants to buy a house or wants to sell a house, that is not a waste of your time. That is an opportunity, and we really need to start looking at it that way. Here's to Dale's point. What's the chance that they're going to write an offer on the one house that they see? Slim to none.
Yeah. Not likely.
It's okay. Get in front of that person, get with them, work with them, make them your client, and now it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah. Brian, do you want to try playing your other one? Or
sure.
Was that one not working? And
no,
I
have
one we can listen to too. This was just silly.
All right. So I got to hit share. Boy, for technical people, I'm not impressed with us today. Okay, share. All right, that's set up there. Perfect. And there.
Great. So they informed me that you're interested in a house in Appleton on Toluca Avenue? Yes. Okay, let me go ahead and look that up for you. I'm actually right in front of my computer here. Okay. Unfortunately, this one does have an accepted offer on it. It does. Okay, it does. Were there any other ones that have caught your eye?
No.
There were a couple. I'll have to take a look back on my account. We looked on Zillow. So I'll have to take a look and see which ones. I mean, I have a couple saved, so I just want to kind of go through my options. Oh, darn. Okay. I guess well, my main thing that I really wanted to speak to someone about is because I'm young, and this is my first time really looking into buying a home. And so I'm looking to, like, what are my first steps? You know.
Oh my God. She just got so lucky, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's getting a second bite at the apple. Go ahead.
Yes, she absolutely is. And so let's see what she's
lucky.
Bite. You're not going to be happy.
I mean, I could rent, but I'm really looking to purchase a house. I mean, do I go to my credit union and see what my, what I be pre-qualified for, or what do you recommend would be like the main first steps?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. The first step would be to speak with the lender and see what your options are for pre-approval.
Okay.
There's someone that I know and really recommend, and I know that he works really well with first-time home buyers and getting you low closing cost numbers. So I'm happy to send you his information so you can get in contact with him.
So I'm going to ask you this, Dale, because I'm not sure. In this scenario,
can I have this lead?
No. Yeah, seriously.
Can I just have it, please?
I closed him last week. I'm just kidding. But let me ask you this, because this is an important way to handle this. So I personally don't hate what she did where she did this, but I feel like there's a way to do it better. So when you're passing somebody over to your lender, what is your process to do that?
You know what? I have somebody great who can run numbers with you, answer any questions that you have, and they'll just ask you a few questions. It'll just take a few minutes. Hold on 1 second, put them on hold, and conference call my lender in. Not even.
I love that. Now, that's the A plan. To me, the B plan is I'm going to have so-and-so who's my lender give you a call. When's the best time to call? At least that way I'm driving the conversation. So
Brian, we do B when the damn lender doesn't answer the phone for the conference call. And then
exactly
you on the line, and then we do exactly what you did.
But basically, the C plan is where she went, but I'm really thinking that's like an F or a G plan, to be honest, because what's the chance that person's going to, you have no relationship with this person. You spent, and I can tell you, 1 minute and 52 seconds on the phone with this person. Why on earth should they listen to your lender? Why go, she already asked, should I go to my credit union to get pre-approved? So huge opportunity. And I would do one of two things in this situation. I would say, what the best thing for us to do is to get together and, come into my office and I'll go over all this stuff. As a matter of fact, I'll have our lender there. That will be another way to go about it. But nonetheless, basically hoping that a third party is going to get contacted is just basically saying, gee, I really hope you work with us.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So Brian, exactly what you said, man. She should have spent time developing a relationship. Oh, wow. You're going to be buying your first home. That's so exciting. How long have you been renting for? How long have you been thinking about buying? Man, what's the biggest, most fun thing about buying your house rather than renting, right? Just build some rapport with this person before, I understand that this agent went down the logic trail of, she said, what do I do? What's the process? And she mentioned financing. And so this agent went to the financing part to demonstrate her knowledge and assist. Hopefully we would work with this agent, and that agent would understand, I'm going to give her process and I'm going to educate her. The most important thing I can do to get the permission and keep her with me is to build that relationship first and get her excited. And then we can do that.
Absolutely. So my friend who's a lender who works at our mortgage company, he always says this: the product that he has is very, very, very important and also very, very, very boring. So,
right.
Unless you have a pile of cash, you need to talk to a lender. But let's face it, guys, we have the sizzle. We have the fun stuff. And I love what Dale was doing. He talked about logic versus emotion. Let me cover that for a second. People do things for emotion, not for logic. And if you don't believe me, take a look at the last 5 people that you sold houses to, and then look at their 10 must-haves, and then look at the fact that they only got 3 of them. And they're thrilled. Why? Because it has nothing to do with logic. Emotion puts you in the transaction. Logic will keep you in the transaction. And, we are trying to sell with logic. I just fell asleep. Oh, good. I get to go bring my tax returns and my
yeah,
and get a proctology exam. I mean, that's what it feels like, guys. Wants to talk to the lender.
Yeah. So I love all these examples, man. Like these are all, sort of unhatched eggs that I want to incubate these agents. Let me play one more. This is so bad. Like, but the agent is really nice, but like, come on. So imagine again, somebody calls in, right? Give me a thumbs up.
Hi there, Alex here. I'm connecting you to a local agent now.
Okay.
Hi, John.
Can you hear it?
Hello.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can.
How are you?
I am fine. Okay, I'm just looking for some information on that property.
First of all, who the hell are you? Right? Because I'm going to connect you to a local agent.
Yeah, and by the way, everybody, in case you guys don't know this, everybody at Zillow is named Alex.
Right.
I'm being smart, but I'm not. They all use the name Alex. So just FYI, if you haven't listened to your own Zillow calls, they're all named Alex.
Right. And I'm saying the agent, introduce yourself as an agent, will you?
Right. I'm Brian Curtis with Curtis Realty Group. How can I help?
No, am I talking
simple, guys?
Property I inquired about.
On Summit?
Yes.
Hold on, I was sitting right here in front of my computer. Let me pull it up.
Look, this is the ticky-tacky. This is what I call it.
Well, I pulled it up on the computer, but I couldn't find out the information I was looking for.
What are you looking for?
I was trying to find out if there was steps going to the second floor or there was an elevator.
Let's see. That is...
And this is a 2-minute and 17-second call.
What? And 1 minute is blank?
It's just
dead air.
Dead air. She's like, I don't know. Hold on.
No steps getting...
I hear you.
Still nothing.
Sometimes they hide the steps in the pictures.
She's just looking at the picture.
Usually they tell you if there's steps.
I think I'm going to try to find that answer for you.
Here's what happens.
Let me is it okay if I take your phone number and call you back?
Sure.
Have it here?
2 minutes for I'm going to hang up and call you back.
Yep.
That was bad.
Yeah. And I'll let you go first.
So here, and I know, and this agent she's super nice. I really like her. She's excellent face-to-face with people, but doesn't do the things that need to be done when she's talking to somebody to get them in, to get face-to-face with them. That's why we're talking about this, right? So here's what we teach, right? When somebody calls in, hey, I'd like to know about that property, about this property that I inquired about. Oh, great. What's the address or whatever the question is? They tell you, yeah, I'm calling about Southern Avenue. Great. What would you like to know about Southern Avenue? Oh, I want to know if there's steps going up to the second floor. Okay, you want to know if there's steps going up to the second floor. Is there anything else you'd like to know about the property? Now, I can be doing this standing in line at the grocery store, right? I don't know anything about it. I don't know what address he's talking about. I don't have a computer in front of me to do the ticky-tacky thing while you sit there and wait. Is there anything else you want to know about the property? They may or may not give you anything else that they want to know. Then ask your questions, whatever they are. Great. So do you live in the neighborhood now? Are you renting or do you own, right? Once you elicit their questions from them, what they want to know, it gives you a window of time that you can ask your questions before they feel the need to get that information from you, believe it or not.
How about this question, So you're inquiring about stairs. Is having stairs important to you or is not having stairs important to you?
Good.
It's just a simple question because I don't know if the guy wants stairs or doesn't want stairs. Maybe he's got somebody he lives with who he hates, so he wants to be able to walk up the stairs and they can't go up with him because they're in a wheelchair. I mean, I don't know. It sounds like kind of a crazy thing, but my initial assumption is, well, he's going to want not stairs or otherwise he wouldn't have asked. Who knows? Maybe he wants stairs, but I don't know. The reason I don't know is because I didn't ask the question.
Right.
The other thing that was funny, it was like, An elevator. And I have no idea how much this house is, but this guy didn't sound like a $500,000 plus buyer. I'm judging. You shouldn't do that.
It was a condo. It was a condo building.
Oh, okay. He wanted. Okay, that makes a little
an elevator to the second floor of the condo.
I thought I was talking about inside a house. I'm like crazy. You know, I've been in 4 houses in my career that had an elevator in the house, so I thought that was a strange question.
Well, that's because you're in Arkansas, my friend.
Yeah. Fair enough. But my point is that there was, just like Dale said, there's so many opportunities to do this. And guess what? You could still do what she did at the end. Unfortunately, I can't get that information. For some reason, it's not in the listing. But I will call you back. And, you know, what's the best time to get a hold of you? You know, and I think it's important. And I don't like I will call you back if I don't have to. But if I do have to do one, I will call you back. When is the best time to get a hold of you? So at least I'm not calling you when I know you're not going to answer.
And after you've developed rapport, right?
Yes.
After you've developed rapport, you understand their full story, and it feels like they generally like you, or at least don't dislike you.
Right, because there's a real good chance this guy hung up the phone and called somebody else.
Yeah, and so there's also something that I often teach, which is close the door behind you, right? I think we've talked about this before. One of the reasons that you have to get the full story out of somebody is because not only does it build rapport between you and them, but think about it this way. How often do you like telling your entire story and purpose and needs and wants to a salesperson? How often do you like to do it the first time?
And I definitely don't want to do the second.
Do you want to do it 2 and 3 and 4 times? No, you don't. So if you get it all out of them, they're going to be way less likely to go and try to talk to another salesperson, because they already did that, right?
Absolutely. Another great reason to get somebody in front of your lender as quickly as possible. Because again, you know, proctology exam, talk to my lender. It's kind of a toss-up which one I want to do.
I'm only getting one rear exam at a time, right? I'm not,
Exactly.
I'm not getting second and third opinions on that one.
But the reality is, if your lender does a fair to good job, they're just going to stick with them because they don't want to go spend an hour and a half going over every piece of paper in their finances and every dollar they've ever spent. And this told me I was approved, and I don't want to deal with that anymore. And here's the thing, neither do I. You know, my real save $12 a month, so I'm going to go do this 4 or 5 more times. There are people who will do that. But again, we're looking for the majority of people and treat them people that way. So, you know, really getting people in front of your lender is huge. And another great thing about getting people in front of your lender, if you have the right lender, is your lender should talk you up.
Yes.
Working with Brian, that is awesome. Let me tell you, you know, we do a lot of transactions together. Brian really takes care of his clients. He does this and this and this and this, because I've done the same thing with Lee. Lee's my guy. Oh, you should go to Lee. Lee helped me finance my house. He finances hundreds of houses a year. He's amazing. He stays on top of it. He's a problem solver. By the time they get in front of Lee, they're like, well, we've got to use Lee. So that relationship that you build with that lender, and make sure make sure they're talking you up, because, you know, I was thinking about using another agent. Oh, you don't want to do that. You definitely want to. Yeah, he is on top of it. There's no way I would use another agent.
Absolutely. That's a great point, Brian. All right, so let's do some PSA here, right? So if anybody watching this, if you want to get your calls reviewed, whether you're live with us right now, hey, everybody who's live, good to see you, or you catch this later, just email them to myself or to Brian. I'm Dale at smartinsidesales.com. My email address is in the notes there. Brian is Brian at searchnwa.com. And his email address is in the chat, in the notes there, or in the comments, and we'll review them live with you. And I promise you, like, we were kind of, you know, being a little bit hard on these people, but if you submit your calls and you talk to us, we'll even bring you on here with us. We're not going to kick you in the ass, right? We're gonna help you. We're gonna be much nicer than we were today about the non-existent agents that weren't here. So I invite you to do that. We would love to help you. Anybody who's interested in anything like that, just shoot them over to us.
Awesome. Yeah, and I piggyback on what Dale said. That's 100% true. Look, guys, we were harsh and we had fun, but you know, those agents, they're good, and they'll take it with a grain of salt. And here's the thing: I don't know if anybody realized there's not a single person who knows who any of those agents were. We cut out their names. We cut out that. So we started that call so you didn't hear, oh, this is Brian with Curtis Realty Group. You didn't hear that. You're not going to hear that. Our intent is not to embarrass anybody. Our intent is to help everybody get better. And that's how you do it. You share your failures. I got to share one of my failures with my team today. I screwed something up, and I got in front of my team and said, look, I did this wrong. That's why we do it this way. So, you know, we all make mistakes. I've been doing this a long time, and well, I clearly made a mistake yesterday. So, yeah.
All right. Sounds good. Everybody, thanks for joining us. We will see you next week for the cash call.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody.